Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Mxgp 2021 career mode. Now in today's episode, round 3, we are off to Italy for the Grand Prix of Megoria. Now unfortunately, my qualifying footage has evaporated. I remember recording it, I remember cancelling and ending the recording, but the recording does not exist. It has evaporated or been taken by aliens, I'm not sure which one. But unfortunately it means we're going straight into race 1. Also, I did try to change team, but in this game, unlike previous ones, you have to be in a transfer window. A bit like football in real life, there is a certain window where you can transfer, and we are currently not in it. Now, this weekend, I'm slightly faster. Not as fast as I'd like to be, but I'm having a bit better time. I think I've maybe got a little fix for my rear grip issue, but only time will tell. So, let's jump over to race 1. So, a decent track finally for us. What can we do? Off we go. We get a good initial launch and we're just far enough ahead that we might get the whole shot around the outside, and we do. We finally get our first whole shot. But this little section here, I am impossible at getting through it. I just cannot get it through. See, I lose 4 positions. Every time I go through it, the AI are just ridiculously quick compared to me. I can't get the bike through. That's the only issue on this track, is the first sector, especially that bit. We drop down up to P5. But usually, even after a couple of turns, they're after braking. But we've made a position back up. Another position back up. We're fighting the championship leader. We go to the inside, just not close enough to get a move done. But we look racy in today's episode. We're having a much better time. We go for a real tight line. Like I mentioned in the intro, I figured out if you use rear brake and the throttle at the same time, it's like a clutch kick in a way. It kind of pops it, and you'll probably hear some clips of the video where the bike starts revving and jumping. But back to the action, we're going to maybe go for second position up the inside. He cuts back to the inside, but we have the inside line for the following right-hander. He gets forced out onto the outside berm, and we are into P2. So we're back into P2. It's our nemesis, Ruben Fernandez, in the lead. And we overjumped that there, almost get put back, but we just managed to bounce back into the track. So I don't know if we have the pace to catch Ruben Fernandez. At this point in the race, I didn't realise how quick I was. And it was kind of an unknown because of how bad I was all season. So the fact I was able to pass people, I was kind of surprised. And at this point, I was like, well, if I can just keep him behind me, I should be able to maybe get my first podium or get my first top 5. So at this point I was like, alright, I need to kind of ride a bit safe. But you see there, I just can't get that corner right. That leaves Diego Gerks back through. The Dutch Kawasaki rider that will not be named is in P4. And he almost got me as well. You can see there just the way I slide the rear and pop it off with the rear brake. We fast forward here now to about 40 seconds left, and we're back all over the back of Diego Gertz again. Same place, we went for the overtake again. We're going to try it. Just slide up the inside, bit of rear brake, very Supercross-esque pass. Just banging the back wheel off his front wheel, leave him nowhere to go. Completely fair in motocross, and that is us back into P2. Now unfortunately, in the lap or two, I was behind the YZ man. Fernandez just kind of disappeared, and at this point, I was a bit tense trying to get my first podium on this game on realistic difficulty. So even though he's just there, and even though I was actually really quick in this race, I didn't even once consider that I could win it. It was more focusing that I wanted to try and get some good points on the board and see could we get a podium. Beaton has made his way up into P3, and then he's just been passed once again, and then he's repassed him, and again they must be side by side. But in this section here now, it's slightly better that time, but still quite slow. Up the hill we go. At the end of this, there'll be 2 laps left. P3 and P4 are pretty much side by side, I reckon. Again, they move back in position, and again, the timing screen actually can't even keep up with them. That's how many positions are moving. It's actually hilarious to watch back. But our pace is pretty damn strong, and it's quite comfortable, which is one thing I haven't been yet on this game. I was able to push this track really hard. The bike just, I think the 250s around here feel really good, and I was really enjoying riding. Most of these jumps are just suited perfectly to the 250, whereas in round 1, round 2, I felt like the 450s were kind of needed for just to clear some of the dub and stuff. But here I go the rhythm, And with rhythm comes pace, and when I had good pace I felt like I could battle with them. And because it seems to be a bit of a quicker track, I don't seem to have as much issues with the rear traction. But it's Ruben Fernandez who wins race 1. We're going to come home just ahead of Jaeger Gertz for our first podium of the year. Brilliant result, delighted. Now in race 2, when we get to it in a second, you'll see that I'm pretty confident I can go and win this one. But first now, we'll just cover the results. Ruben Fernandez, myself and Jed Beaton comes home P3. Gertz must have crashed because he dropped back to 6th. And it was quite a way back. But even look at our fastest lap. We're in and around. We actually did the same lap time as the Kawasaki man, Rowan Van blah, 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 blah. I can't say that. I'm not going to be able to say that name, unfortunately. It is far too Dutch. But here we are now for race 2. Can we get a better start? No, we actually get a worse one, unfortunately. So this time now, I'm like up the inside of Fernandez if I can. I actually give him a bit of contact. Me and the other Kawasaki man collide, and we're back into P5. This is exactly how we started race 1. And through here again, just happened to drift out of the inside berm back to P6. Jaeger Gertz gets out onto the outside berm, mistake there from him, and we're back to P5. So it's Sandler, Renault, Beaton, and Renault has just binned it, so that puts us in P4. They go to the outside. I have a big moment there, lose the rear end, and that lost me all the drive up there. But the two of these are battling side by side, and they're leaving me get back. But already in this race I'm thinking, no, not again, don't leave Ruben Fernandez get away. But as you'll see as the race goes on, he doesn't seem to get away that fast. Come down out this lovely bit of track. I do absolutely adore this track. It's just so enjoyable to ride. I don't say that much about a motocross track in this game. But we're just nailing all our landings. We're just getting a really good rhythm. And it sounds stupid. It was coming easy to me. It wasn't that hard. Just overshot that slightly because I'm just being a bit early in this race now. I'm just chasing the track a touch just to try and get on the back of these fellas. Because as soon as they do get away from you, it is hard to close down the gap even when you're confident. But they just case that a bit. We have a big moment there. But they take a very shallow line over that. They like to ride down it, whereas I like to just send it. And we're pretty much with them now. We're going to try and move here. I reckon they probably will go short here. We're going to go long. And that is P2. A slight bit of a whip there. As you just see, we've clicked look back to make sure we moved on. But now we're into P2 nice and early. Can we go after the W, the race, win in race 2? Fernandez leads. I'm in P2, riding the best I've ridden this Kawasaki since I've thrown my leg over the bike. And into this sector here. Again, it just drifts out of it, and as he's beaten back through, we drop back to P3. And at this point I was thinking, I don't know, because then Sandler comes by and I was stuck. We fast forward a few minutes in the race, and we're just about getting back past the KTM man. A nice bit of a whip over the tabletop there as we come down the landing. We are on a charge up this hill we go, and we're after the Husqvarna of Beaton. And at this point in the race, I started to notice Beaton had taken a lot of time out of Ruben Fernandez, and I wonder what was going on. You'll see here in a second, they both crash. I'm leading the race for a split second as Fernandez almost, he kind of T-bones me, he jumps past me, Beaton goes behind me, we go on the inside, touch bars, and he shorts it, and we're into the lead. A minute 20 left in this race, +2, we are leading. Now at this point, I felt like maybe I have the pace with them behind me, but even after the crash, and we have a huge moment in there, that could have cost us the race, big moment on the entry to the hairpin, and that pushed us way wide. We just managed to recover, thankfully we didn't go down. And then Ruben Fernandez has a second crash of the race, and at that point, in my head, this race was won. He was the fastest man other than myself. Beaton and Renault and the others were quick, but Fernandez was the one I didn't beat in race 1. He was the one that I thought was a bit quicker than the rest, and he's been my arch nemesis all season. I've yet to beat him. I don't think he's passed me in all the races so far, but this one's not going to happen. And in P2, Renault, after crashing early in this race, has crashed again. AI having a crash fest today in Italy, and we are having an absolute ball, riding the wheels off our KXF 250. Just get in again once a bit hot there. You can see our tracks through the off section, but we hold on for the lead. So we're going to just run out of time here, and then we'll have 2 laps left, so timer's just counting down, hit 0 now, just before we cross, otherwise we would add another lap. So 2 full laps between me and my first victory in the MX2 class. Winning here as well will give me the moto victory, overall victory, and that will do absolutely no harm for my championship. We see you got turn 2, very good that time because I was getting a bit more confident. And here we are now on the final lap. And guess who's catching us? Ruben Fernandez. 2 crashes and he's still closing in on us. Now I wasn't going as fast now because I just didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to push the physics any harder than I did. So he was probably riding a bit more aggressive than I was. I just wanted to bring it home. I was a lot more nervous now racing for the victory. But when I saw it was him again in P2, I was like, oh no. Oh no. But then he crashes a 3rd time. A bridge too far for Ruben Fernandez to get the double win in today's episode. He doesn't manage it. It's going to be us. We're definitely going to win in this one now. I'm not leaving this one slip away. We've had such a good weekend, all in all. Not qualifying last. Race 2 gets our, or race 1 we got our first podium with a P2. And in race 2 here, we're going to come home for the moto victory and our first race win. And you have to say, this wasn't a lucky one where the AI all crashed. This one was on pace. There's a few AI crashes, but we dominated the field today, and I'm absolutely delighted to get our first win with the Kawasaki team. So we come home at 39.0, so it was a bit slower than in race 1. 1.2, 1.3, and Ruben Fernandez 1.8 faster. So overall, not that fast. Or it wasn't that slow, we'll say. They weren't much faster, whereas in some races so far, they've been up as far as 12 seconds quicker. But we do come home just ahead of Ruben Fernandez with 2 points win, and there we are with the gold plate for the final rankings, first in the Mxgp Grand Prix. So championship standings up to P6, 102 points in total, 124 for Jaeger Gertz in the lead, so we have about 22 points to catch up. Now I wonder, will this kickstart, pardon the pun, my charge for the MX2 title? I hope so. I felt much better. I felt like I could battle with them there and had actually a lot of fun with that race after complaining so much about it in episode 2. Round 3 came along and I had some great fun. Now, if you did enjoy today's episode of Mxgp 21, if you could drop a like down below, it does help with the YouTube algorithms getting this content out there for others to see, and maybe drop a subscription if you're new. But anyway, I'm going to leave there. Thank you all for watching. Catch you all in the next episode. Bye bye.